Hello and welcome to another edition of Business Insights. I'm your host, Dwight Cromie. Today I'm talking with Mike Stull, the director of the Inland Empire Center for Entrepreneurship, which supports the efforts of students, aspiring entrepreneurs, and small business owners. Here in the Inland Empire, they deliver a wide range of programs and services for those individuals. Welcome, Mike.
Dwight, great to see you again.
Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Give me a little insight on how you got to where you are. I mean, I've known you for several decades now, but how did you get to the position of director for the ICE program?
You have to be careful what you say yes to, right? So, actually, it was a really interesting. I had a chance to be involved in the center in its early stages. Of a former professor of mine at Cal State San Bernardino had this idea for the Center for Entrepreneurship, and he approached me and a number of other alumni and people, business leaders in the community about the concept, wanting to get feedback, and he put together a kind of a focus group to give input. And then as a result of that, he asked me if I would be interested in joining the board for the center. And so I was on the board in its early stages. Those first couple of years, it was getting started up and trying to develop programs and activities. And then ultimately, long story short, I was enticed to come and take over and be the director and try and grow the program into a nationally and globally recognized entity and develop all the various aspects of it.
You've done a good job of it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
I think you're fourth in the country or for recognition.
We've had over the last. This is my 18th year with the Cal State San Bernardino and serving as the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship. And so it's been quite a ride. And over the years, we've stacked up a number of accolades, recognitions from both folks like the Princeton Review, which is the entity that Princeton Review and Entrepreneur Magazine ranked us as the number 4 graduate program in the country a few years back. Most recently in 2017, an organization called CSUSB International, which is the primary accreditation body for business schools worldwide. It is the platinum standard for business schools worldwide. Only 5% of the business schools are accredited by CSUSB, so it's a really tough accreditation to achieve and to maintain. They did an assessment of their member schools in 2017. They actually put together an outside party of judges, and they said, we want you to look at our member schools and evaluate their entrepreneurship programs. And what we want to do is we want to recognize the top 35 that are fostering entrepreneurship and innovation on their campuses. And so we submitted the data that they asked for, and we were selected as one of those top 35. So, wow. In fact, I think we were one of maybe 2 or 3 total in the state of California that were recognized. So 35 schools is a small group from a large group, and then we were one of a small number in California.
Well, obviously you've done a great job as the leader or director of the program, and leadership is kind of what our program's about. Right. How did you lead, or how did you take Cal State San Bernardino or the program to where it is today? And we'll talk more about the program, but what was your leadership skills in taking it to where it is today?
I think the most important thing for myself and then for the team that we've built over the years in the Center for Entrepreneurship starts with a very simple mantra. And it's something I've lived by, throughout my career, is that you have to think like an owner. So no matter whether I actually owned the company, or in the case of Cal State San Bernardino, I was the leader of the entity, the idea was that I'm always thinking like an owner, and I want our team to think like an owner. And what that implies is that, we treat it as if, we have equity in this, that every decision we make, every action we make is going to have a personal impact on us and our stakeholders. And that it's not just a job that we come in and we come out of, and
right.
And so we really take this personal. We bring our passion, we bring our enthusiasm, we bring innovation. We think like we're trying to build the best thing possible, and that means that we're going to do whatever it takes. And so the core values of our Center for Entrepreneurship are think like an owner, and to be to have a bias for taking action and making things happen. And I think that those types of things are really important. And then also being committed to learning. We have a learning orientation, right. So we're always learning more. We can always do better. And so those core values, I think, is what I've had for a number of years. And that's what our team shares, and that's how we live our experience every day in the center. And that I think that's why you get this consistent ability to pursue new opportunities and find ways to provide more value to the people we serve, whether it's on campus or off campus. And so I think that's been a big part of it. And my role in the center is not only to help empower our team to reach their potential and maximize their programs, but also to come up with new ideas and be kind of trying constantly pushing us forward. As I said to somebody recently, I said, part of the challenge of working with somebody like me is that I'm never happy. And I said, it's not that I'm not happy, it's just that I'm never satisfied. And so we'll get to somewhere, we'll get this great ranking, and I'll think, that's great. Okay, now what? We're on to the next thing. What are we going to do next? I'm always thinking how you have to top yourself.
Right. You
have to constantly improve your game. Because as soon as you get complacent, I think that it's game over, right?
Well, they often talk about in leadership the mindset, whether you have a fixed or a growth mindset. It sounds like you not only have a growth mindset, but you've ensured that everyone on your team has that same growth mindset.
Yeah, and it really is a mindset, because oftentimes I'll tell people, about our think like an owner mantra, and they'll say, well, isn't it about acting like an owner? And I said, ultimately, it takes action and execution, but I said it starts right here. If you don't have the mindset, there's going to be no action, right?
Right.
So we really have to cultivate that mindset and build our team all the way down to the lowest levels has to buy into that mindset. That's
like
our number one core value. Yeah. So I think that guides our whole program, and I think it also speaks to the fact that all of our team, if you're an owner, you get in and you do whatever needs to be done to make things happen. So I think that's a very powerful thing when people around you see that, hey, that person's picking up trash. That person's pitching in. They're willing to do whatever it takes to help make this an impactful organization.
Now, we hear not only in your school, but something you hear about business all the time, culture. Can you talk a little bit about the culture of your organization? Because that, for most businesses, that either make or break a company or make it successful or not successful.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes right back to that think like an owner. I mean, our culture is one of ownership and taking action and making things happen, and being constantly focused on learning and acquiring new skills and competencies and making new connections and things like that. And culture ultimately, is defined by the leadership of the organization. And then you hire in the people that fit the core values, and you really just reinforce this culture, and it grows and morphs over time. But I think as I look at companies, I think, a lot of times companies don't have a distinctive competitive advantage, but what they do have is their people and their culture. And every culture is unique. It's like DNA. Right. It's like nobody has the same identical fingerprint, right? And so I think that's one thing that business owners particularly, but leaders in any organization can help to mold and shape and develop a culture that's so unique that your competitors can't replicate that, right? Everybody talks about, use an example of Google, the unique culture of certain companies, and that is their unique advantage. And so you can't usually copy that, right? You have to sort of find your own culture and your unique stamp on how you're going to deliver what you're going to deliver in terms of a product or service.
Well, let's get a little bit into the Center for Entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Can you tell me about some of the programs that you're really excited about, some of the programs that you think really have an opportunity to not only help students, but help our business community? Because a lot of our viewers are manufacturers, young businesses starting, or people in thinking about starting a business. Tell me about some of the programs that you're involved in that you're really excited about. So, I know you've got a lot.
Yeah. So, how much time do you have, Dwight? So this is the hard part, of sort of narrowing down all the things we do, because we do so much. But it starts with the fact that the Inland Empire Center for Entrepreneurship at Cal State San Bernardino, our whole focus, what we exist for, is to support and celebrate entrepreneurship and small business. And our real niche, if you will, is to provide innovative programs and educational resources to entrepreneurs and small business owners, both on campus and in the community. And so, as a university, obviously we're delivering academic programs, but we're also delivering programs and services in the community. And that's what makes this center so unique. Many universities have centers for entrepreneurship, but oftentimes they're very campus focused, and they don't do much, if anything, in the community. And our center is very unique in that it's doing as much on campus or as much in the community as it's doing on campus. So let me give you an example of the types of things we'll do in the community, because not everybody wants to come and get a college degree. If you're a business owner and you say, I need help with my business, the solution isn't to go get a college degree, right? It's to get access to resources and expertise. And so there's probably not a week that goes by that somebody doesn't call me with that very same thing. Hey, I heard about the Center for Entrepreneurship, and you provide resources to business owners, but I don't want to get a degree, so how can you help me? And so, we've got 3 primary programs, really 4, that provide significant value to business owners. And I'll start with our newest one, which is the State Trade Expansion Program. Short is STEP, so STEP. That program, which is funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, we run that program. It's a statewide program in California, and we coordinate it statewide, but we deliver services also here in the Inland Empire. And what that program does is it works with companies that are looking to gain access to export markets, to international markets. They're in a good position to do that. And so there's some mentoring, coaching, counseling, but also ultimately taking those companies to international markets. So our program just got back from a trip to China, where they took companies to a trade show and introduced to potential partners and suppliers and customers in that international market. So, and that program is just fantastic, and has a great success ratio in terms of working with those companies and taking them from, they may just be focused on their domestic market, but they've got tons of potential for an international business.
And that's quite interesting, because, I relate to a lot of manufacturers in this region, and a lot of them just, they want to reach out to new markets. They just don't know how, or they're nervous.
Yeah.
And they could dramatically increase their sales, but they just don't know the process.
Yeah.
So this is quite unique.
Yeah, and this program, takes them through that whole process and step by step, and gets them to that point. So super valuable program. It's another program that we offer through our center is called the Women's Business Center. Again, it's a program funded by the Small Business Administration. We've been running that program since 2003. We actually have 2 women's business centers, one in the Inland Empire area and one in the Coachella Valley area. And so it's delivering coaching, mentoring, and training to female entrepreneurs primarily. That's our target market. Anybody can use the program. But it's had this incredible track record of helping women realize their dream of business ownership. And it's done some dramatic changes for people that were looking for a new path in life, and business ownership became that new path. So Women's Business Center is a phenomenal program. We also run what's called the Small Business Development Center program. You'll see a theme here. This is also funded by the Small Business Administration.
Yes.
And we've been running that program for a number of years. And
that's kind of where you started.
That's
right?
Many, many years ago. I was running the Small Business Development Center about that's where I was when I went up to Cal State San Bernardino. I was running that program. So that provides counseling and training to people that are either in business or aspiring to start a business. And it provides helps them get access to capital, marketing strategies, writing business plans, doing all kinds of wonderful things. And between those 3 programs, we're touching thousands of businesses every year and helping them achieve new levels of success. Or in the case of startups, we're helping people go from 0 to actually having a viable business. So those types of programs are key. And many of those, all 3 of those programs offer workshops, seminars, 2-3 hour workshops. But for companies and people that want more, we offer a 40-hour training. I call it the greatest hits of entrepreneurship, because what we did is we took the best concepts from our academic program in entrepreneurship at Cal State San Bernardino, and we distilled it down. And that's 250 hours of instruction. We distilled it down into 40 hours of the greatest hits, and we deliver that in the community. We've been delivering it actually statewide, and the greatest thing is it's free. We've been offering it for free. We have a grant that subsidizes it, and we're able to go out in the community and offer this program to business owners, and it's having a real impact. In fact, I've met with one of our latest courses that they just finished up. I went to their graduation, and one of the participants said to me, he said, I've taken lots of workshops and seminars. I've done online stuff. He goes, I've paid thousands of dollars to try and get knowledge to help me increase my business and make it a better business. And he said, this is the first program that's actually had an impact. And he said, I spent all that money and didn't get any results. And he said, I came to this free program, and he said, I've got results. So it's a really powerful program. So we do that kind of stuff as well.
Do you know what your economic impact is to the region?
Yeah,
You ever done that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do track it. I don't know the exact numbers right now because we're always updating it, but it's close to $150 million of economic impact to the region.
That's quite a thing. Now, the center is kind of unique. What kind of support do you actually get from the college? I mean, you run the center, and it's really important that the college is there behind you. Can you tell me about the relationship?
Yeah, we have a fantastic, both the Jack H. Brown College of Business and Public Administration and the university itself are very supportive of the Center for Entrepreneurship. We've evolved over time and gotten to be a much bigger, more impactful program, and as we've grown and evolved, so has the support of the university and the college. And in fact, in Cal State University's strategic plan for San Bernardino, we have one of the initiatives is to create more of a culture of entrepreneurship and innovation on campus. And our center has been charged with leading that effort, and so we get some funding to do that. And so we deliver all kinds of programs on campus to really try and facilitate entrepreneurial activity. Everything from, I have a group of faculty that I fund every year. It's different faculty that come in and out of the program that have ideas for entrepreneurial activities within their teaching or their research or their program activities. So we fund these faculty. One of the faculty I just funded developed a minor program in arts and entrepreneurship. And so I worked with her for a whole year, and we developed this arts and entrepreneurship program. I had another faculty member that we supported through this, what we call our Faculty Fellows program, and she created she's in theater arts, and she created an improvisation course specifically for entrepreneurship. And so our students take that class. So I just selected a new faculty fellow that's going to work with us next year. He's actually in the history department. He wants to develop a class on the history of entrepreneurship in America and teach it as a part of the history curriculum. And I think that's critical that people think all the entrepreneurship stuff on our campus happens in the business school.
Right.
And our goal and what we're achieving is entrepreneurship is happening in all of the 5 colleges on the Cal State San Bernardino campus. And it's happening in the College of Education. It's happening in Arts and Letters. It's happening in Social and Behavioral Sciences. It's happening in Natural Sciences. I have faculty in all those different colleges working on initiatives that are involve entrepreneurship and are getting students involved, getting faculty involved, and it's sort of starting to change the culture of the campus.
Now, you provide a wide range of services to businesses. But I know your focus is education, focusing on
big
the
chunk
students.
of it, yes, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit maybe about the internship programs that you offer businesses and your students and how that works?
Yeah, and in fact, before I get to that, let me give you a framework of what the academic programs look like at Cal State San Bernardino. We are the only university in the Inland Empire region that offers a comprehensive, fully stocked, progressive, degree-based program where students can study entrepreneurship. So whether they're taking the bachelor's degree program, they're taking a master's program, they're a non-business student and they want to study entrepreneurship, we have a minor program. And so we've got this really comprehensive approach. So bachelor's, minor program, master's in business administration with a focus area in entrepreneurship. And now our latest, rolling out in August of 2020, we will have a Master of Science in Entrepreneurship and Innovation degree. It will only be the 3rd MS in Entrepreneurship program in the state of California. Our closest competitor is USC. There's probably maybe only about 25 or 30 specific master's programs in entrepreneurship in the country. So we're going to be on the leading edge, a part of that group as well. And it's, again, like I said earlier, it's not just students that are focused on entrepreneurship, they're actually taking entrepreneurship courses. Last year we had 35 different degree programs on campus taking entrepreneurship courses. Wow. And we looked at our freshman applications this last year. Out of 133 programs on our campus that they could choose from, entrepreneurship was the 17th most popular application by freshmen. Wow. So we're in the top 20. So what that's telling you is there's this huge trend among millennials and Generation Z towards entrepreneurship. They're really thinking about entrepreneurship as a pathway, as a part of their life. And we teach entrepreneurship as both, starting a business, but also alluding to earlier, thinking like an owner. It's a mindset that you can employ and deploy in any setting. And so we're really preparing students to be value contributors no matter what field they go into, whether they start their own business or they go to work for somebody else. they become a valuable contributor because they understand the
They
holistic
understand
business.
the-
They understand innovation. They understand creativity. They can pitch ideas. They understand business models. I always use I trot out this example is that one of our most successful students didn't start a business. He went to work for a large company, a major international corporation, and he started at the very bottom, and within 6.5 years, he was the regional director for their company on their retail side. It's a tire manufacturer, and he's overseen 110 of their retail tire stores in Southern California and Las Vegas. So he went from entry level to that position in less than 7 years, which is that's a spectacular rise.
Yeah, that's a rise.
And when you ask him how he got there, he says, I think like an owner. I understand the business from a holistic perspective.
Right.
I'm innovative. I'm adding value. I'm not just doing my job. I'm adding value. I'm finding ways to help the business grow. Yeah. And that's the net sum of our academic programs is we're preparing students to go out and launch companies, but we're also preparing them to go in and help companies grow because they have this different set of skills and competencies and this mindset that's very valuable that you won't find in a lot of students. So, with those academic programs, we're having a really impactful experience. We've got about 300 students that study entrepreneurship at Cal State San Bernardino. They're declared in entrepreneurship. And as I was mentioning earlier, when we off the air, is that we're touching more students now with our academic programs because now every business student in our new curriculum that starts in fall of 2020, every business student will take an entrepreneurship class. And now also, typically the first 2 years of college, you're taking general education courses. Now, for the first time ever, we have an entrepreneurship class that's been accepted into the general education curriculum. So students can take as freshmen an entrepreneurship class. It's called Exploring the Entrepreneurial Mindset. And they can take this class and learn how to apply these skills from the entrepreneurial perspective in managing their life and their career and solving problems. These types of developments are fantastic in helping to really shape the pathways of these students.
Well, listening to learning about your students and the courses you're teaching, this is really kind of like timely because in Southern California alone, there's about 1 million businesses that have baby boomer owners that are going to have to succeed or leave their business somehow. In hiring a student with an entrepreneurial mindset could help position them to leave that business with a profit rather than shutting the doors. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of companies where the owners don't have children that want to take over the business, and does the owner want to sell the business? How do they want to handle this succession? And having somebody, as you know, the business is your baby, right? You don't want to just hand it off to anybody, right?
And you don't want to close the doors.
You don't want to close the doors, but our students, a lot of our students are perfect candidates to go in and sort of do that internship, do that kind of apprenticeship, if you will, learn the business. And the thing is that we see, and we've seen this with some of our projects, and we've seen this in other cases where you're able to bring those students in with a new mindset, a new energy, and find new opportunities for the business to grow. We've seen that in several cases where our students have gone in and done projects for companies. I have a business in Riverside that our student team worked on a project for them. And after it was over, he said, can you have another student team come in? And he said, because I'm seeing immediate impact from what the students are doing. Can you have another team come in and work with me? And so they're seeing the value because, as he said, they're seeing things that I don't see, right? And he said, they know things that I don't know. And he goes, that's helping me grow my business. And I think the similar situation, if you can bring somebody in, that they're going to bring a new energy and new mindset to the business, and ultimately that helps the business grow and helps the current owner.
Well, what's amazing is that's what happened to me 40 years ago. I interned for a small company just because it's really what I wanted to do, and 2 years later I bought the company.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and here I am 40 years later doing the same thing. Let me ask you, if someone wants to learn or get to know more about the program, how do they reach out to you?
Well, they can do it a variety of ways. Obviously we're on social media. We have a website. And all of that information is readily available. For our primary website at Cal State San Bernardino is csusb.edu. But if you put entre.csusb.edu, that takes you right to the entrepreneurship program. Or another way of getting to us is one of our other pages or other sites is called thinklikeanowner.org. So back to our mantra again, right? So thinklikeanowner.org. And that's the first thing when our students walk into their very first class in entrepreneurship at Cal State San Bernardino. We have a special classroom just for the entrepreneurship program. Nobody else can use it. It's outfitted just like it looks like a business boardroom. And the first thing they see when they walk into that room is a big sign on the wall that says, "Think like an owner." And we're trying to immediately change their mindset because they all think like students.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're saying you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be entrepreneurial, you have to start changing your mindset. You have to start thinking differently.
It is all about the mindset.
And we're going to start right now. And everything we do, the way we teach the programs is highly experiential, highly interactive, and highly accountable. Like you can't just come in and expect that you're just going to get material thrown. You have to engage, you have to be a part of the process, and you have to shift your mindset. And it takes them a little bit of time, but over time it happens, and then we see them go off and do crazy things. And I always tell students, if they want to start a business while they're at Cal State San Bernardino, there's no excuses. They can actually do it because we have access to all the resources and the support to actually help them do it. We have a fast pitch competition that we run where they can pitch their idea to investors. We have an innovation challenge competition on campus where they can win prize money and get pitched to investors. We have a business accelerator on campus where they can be a part of that program, get access to office space, mentoring from our full-time entrepreneur in residence. This is a person that is there every day, not only teaching courses in entrepreneurship, but he's an entrepreneur and an angel investor, and he's working with our startups, helping them develop their businesses and grow. So there's really and we also provide startup capital to those businesses as well. So there's really if you're a student at Cal State San Bernardino and you really want to start a business, there's no excuses for you. You can actually do it while you're a student there, if you want to. And it's powerful. We had a physics student that changed to entrepreneurship. He got enticed by a presentation I did, and he said, "I'm really interested in this." He took a class, and then he said, "I'm going to change. I'm going to be a physics minor and an entrepreneurship major." He changed. He entered our fast pitch competition this year. He didn't win the competition, but after the event, an entrepreneur in the audience came up to me and said, this was at our Spirit of the Entrepreneur Awards, where the students do their final pitches, a black tie, business gala, 1,000 people.
Fabulous event.
Yeah. He made his pitch to the audience. He didn't win the competition, but the entrepreneur came up to me afterwards and he said, "How can I get in touch with a student because I want to invest in that startup."
Wow.
So that's the power that these things have, and that's where you see that overlap, between the community and our program, because our students are working on projects in the community. We have a course where they actually work on projects for local companies, entrepreneurs. They're doing internships. We have our fast pitch competition in the community, and entrepreneurs are coming to campus and mentor. So we have all these interaction points between the community and the students where you're seeing this real impact on both the students, but also the entrepreneurs as well. They're looking at it and going, "Wow, that's some." As I had at our innovation challenge last week, one of the judges came over and said to one of our students, she was really encouraging her and said, "You've got some real talent. You've got some." And she said to me afterwards, she goes, "That's the kind of student I would like to have hired." So.
Well, thank you, Mike.
My pleasure, Dwight.
Great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been another edition of Business Insights. I'm your host, Dwight Cromie, and I want to thank you for watching. Good night.